Joining me now is the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Jack Dale. Welcome.
Thank you.
Well, it's budget season, and we're ready, you're ready
Yes.
to introduce your proposed budget,
Right.
your final budget as superintendent. Any surprises?
Well, actually, no. What's happened over the last several years is we've begun to see this large enrollment growth. We had to prepare for almost 4,000 new kids for this school year, and we're anticipating over 2,000 more for the following year. And so that's becoming, unfortunately, a similar story. The downside in budget seasons here for us that are growing with enrollment is the economy is not growing at the same rate, and so the revenue from the county is not going up. And so we've been pretty flat. Last year, a little bit of an increase, but the prior 3 years, transfer was going down as a percentage, and our enrollment's going up, so wrong curves.
Right. What do we see from the county this year?
It's going to be some tough times. One of the interesting things that we heard from the fiscal forecast from Ed Long was their number one priority is education, which is good. And I think what the county executive wants to also do is have the Board of Supervisors really consider long-range investment in the county, not just in schools, but they have a lot of infrastructure work in Tyson's. They've got the rail to Dulles. They've got portions of to pay for. So there's a lot of fiscal demands on the county that I think they're going to want to begin to address. And the sooner you address it, the less increase of taxes you have to do, because you can get it in there and then begin to move and have a steady stream to help pay for some of these infrastructure demands. And one of the infrastructures, of course, is us in education.
Right. So let's get to some specifics. What is your percentage increase?
We're going to ask for a little over 5%, 5.5% increase in the county transfer. And that would provide enough money then to do some really basic things. One is cover our enrollment growth. That's probably the biggest ticket item, over $21 million.
And that goes to teachers, correct?
Truly, that's teachers, IAs at times, some guidance counselors to keep the ratios down, et cetera. But it's mainly people working directly with kids. The second most dollar-sensitive area, if you will, is the remainder part of the Virginia retirement system conversion that we must do. We have to convert 5% and have employees pay 5%, and we increase their salary by 5%. Normally you'd think that's a wash, but we have so many other salary sensitive contributions we have to make into Social Security, which is going up, and other areas that's going to cost us, I think it's another $18 million or so, $18 million to deal with Virginia retirement system changes that we must do by law. And then the board asked to do a minimal salary increase of just 1%, which is pretty minimal, and that'll be very minimal when you look at what's been happening with frozen steps over multiple years, a very slight increase last year.
Right.
So I think that's the other thing we have to invest in the future, is to take care of our employees.
Right. And so this is a cost of living increase, not a step increase.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, the steps are still, at least the current situation would be, the board would recommend that we freeze steps. Again, I actually think we probably should take a look at doing those instead of the market scale, but the board will make the final policy decision on that come May. Right.
So you're going to present in January, then the board adopts its advertised budget in early February.
Right. We'll go through public hearings. People will react to my proposal. The school board will then adopt what's called the advertised budget. Most of what I have in here with the Virginia retirement system conversion that we have to do, the 1% market scale adjustment or COLA, the enrollment increase, the board has already weighed in on and said we've got to do those things. And so those are all pretty known quantities.
Right.
I also am trying to expand the foreign language program at the elementary school, because we have a lot of interest in continuing to expand it. Maybe only a few schools, but we'll try and put some money into that. But if we can't get anywhere close to the 5% increase in the transfer from the county, then obviously we're going to have to cut back a lot of those things and not be able to do market scale adjustments or defer some of the Virginia retirement system and spread out over even more years, which actually costs us more than if we get it done up front. So those are some of the policy issues for both the school board as well as the Board of Supervisors.
Right. What do we see from the state?
Right now, the only good news from the state is we anticipate some increase in sales tax revenue. People have been spending money in the holidays, and the anticipated growth that we'll have there is a positive note. The negative note is the governor currently is proposing that they take away funding for what's called cost for competing, which is an additional salary allocation to Northern Virginia, because it is more expensive to live up here. And he's recommending to take that away. The net loss in that is probably $10, $11, $12 million, depending on how that gets configured. So that's not a helpful situation at all.
Right.
There are some additional kind of general funding increases. The governor proposed a 2% salary increase, but we only get 20 cents on the dollar, so that is a huge deficit for the county to try and meet. And the governor's proposing doing it with just one-time money. And so a year from now, you'd be left with no state money to support a salary increase that was supposed to go on forever. So from the state perspective, I don't see a lot of help coming at all. So most of our work will be with the Board of Supervisors.
Right, and as always, this is a process,
yes.
and it changes as we go along,
yeah.
According to what's happening around us. So we'll have you back shortly.
Yeah. And we'll have on the website if people want to do more detailed listening to the budget presentation.
Yes.
I'm doing a voiceover on my presentation, and so people can listen to that. And then, of course, as you mentioned, the school board's advertised budget in early part of February.
Good. Thanks so much.
Welcome.